Finland has been one of the strongest supporters of Ukraine also on a bilateral basis, though we deem it important that the European Union is unified in this and each country contributes according to the capital key. So whichever means is necessary to fulfill the immediate needs that Ukraine has now, but also our position is very firm on this. We have to find a strategic long-term way of also ramping up our common European defence industry and our capabilities.
Are there any concrete ideas in order to increase the humanitarian aid to Gaza?
I think the EU has done a very good job in increasing the aid to Gaza, but now, of course, the problem is that the aid doesn't get in. So we have to make sure that there are humanitarian corridors and, again, a humanitarian ceasefire to make room for aid getting in, because we see that people, civilians, innocent civilians, are now even starving to death. And we can't see that happen.
Concerning the EU mission to the Red Sea, I know it's not decided today, but can you give us an idea of the scope of the mandate? What will be in it, what will definitely not be in it?
Well, we will be discussing that today, and there will be further details then coming out a little bit later. But it has to be also understood that what's happening in the Red Sea area is very tightly linked to the war in the Middle East. So I think going forward and also for the long term, unless we find a solution, and there is the two-state solution, a negotiated peace for the Middle East, we will have problems in the region for the long term.
Minister, do you believe that the war
is getting very bad? Last week, Iranian regime has been attacking the Arabic city, the Iraqi Kurdistan region. So today, there's no any Iranian regime here, but you can see the other side is Saudi Arabia. Don't you think this is the time also to ask the Iranian authority to come here? Because one of the reasons in the Middle East conflict because of Iran. What do you think?
Well, we will most definitely be discussing also Iran's role in all this and ways on how we could convince Iran to constrain itself. We have now witnessed regional escalation, perhaps not so much between countries, but within countries from terrorist or extremist groups. And for as long as the war in the Middle East goes on, then probably there won't be a lasting solution to this. And obviously at some point we need to see if we need to put some pressure on Iran in this.
Minister, when it comes to the war in Ukraine, do you believe actually that this war can extend beyond the Ukrainian territory and come to the European and NATO territory?
We have to prepare for the fact that Russia, unfortunately, will remain a strategic long-term threat to Europe. And therefore, it is extremely crucially important that we not only aid Ukraine immediately and credibly for the long term, but of course also for our own cause we have to be ramping up our defence industry and our capabilities.
How many years at your disposal do you have for preparation to the worst scenario? How many years? Because we hear different estimations.
We have to be preparing right away. That has been the Finnish position. It's actually been the Finnish position for decades. So now also as fresh members in NATO, we are happy to contribute to the alliance's collective defence and deterrence, which has to be ramped up.
Minister, there's been some concern that some countries are doing less than others on a bilateral basis in terms of funding and military aid to Ukraine. Is that a concern that you're seeing? Is there a worry that it becomes, a competition between countries?
If it's a positive competition, as in who delivers most, I think it's only a good thing. We see that also in the market economy, competition is good. But what we, of course, have to consider the two sides. So to serve the immediate needs of Ukrainians, even out of inventory, what we have available, readily available, and then to see the strategic needs and also make extra orders on a European basis. But of course, what is needed, we can't have that as a protectionist measure to only support, say, a given industry. At the same time, we have to be ramping up the European defence industry. But if there's an immediate need to order specific, say, ammunition or specific defence materials, we have to do that out of those sources which are available. Thank you so much.
Thank you.